at our toll gates across the country in order to eliminate corruption and optimize revenue for the federal government. You recall that this practice has gone on for more than 50 years, where we collect cash, where the operators of the toll gates, federal authority collect cash from motorists at the points of collection across the country, mostly the toll gates and other points like the parking lots and all of that. However, with the introduction of the cashless system less than a week ago, it's created a lot of gridlock across the country. Mr. President was very concerned about the wealth of Nigerians and the fact that most Nigerians were losing their flights, missing their flights. And so Mr. President, out of empathy, directed today that we should suspend the present system because it creates a lot of gridlock and Nigerians are suffering as a result of it. Mr. President therefore directed me that we should go back to the drawing board. We should go back to status quo, suspend the present system whereby people will have to pay through the various means we have introduced at the various gates across the country, and then go and perfect the system properly. In fact, the President directed me that this should not take too long. It should not take too long, and I should get back to him on this issue. We should go back and, if possible, even engage the private sector to ensure that we establish an electronic system by which we can collect these monies at the gates, these revenues for federal government at the gates, to the extent that it will not create the gridlock that we're having. Bought some fan cards before. We can do a hybrid system. We're going to do a hybrid system whereby we can collect cash temporarily and, of course, use the cards that they have collected temporarily for now. But this is also a platform for me to announce that we will be engaging with various private sector persons and entities who will be interested in operating the gates for us electronically and collect revenues for the federal government. Mr. President actually hinted through that hint today that even if we have to pay commission, right? Mr. President, if we have to pay commission, we have to pay commission, but we'll bring in private sector participants to help us devise a much more efficient payment system that will still eliminate cash at the gates. And this will be done as quickly as possible because we do not want this cash collection to go on for too long. So this will be done as quickly as possible, and we will report back to the press as to the progress we are making in that respect. The major reason why Mr. President took this decision is to eliminate the present gridlock that we're experiencing, especially both at the Lagos and the Abuja toll gates leading to the airports. That's the major reason. Not that the President is happy with the cash system, no. It's just an empathetic decision, a decision that will reduce the sufferings our Nigerians are going through right now. That is one. I will confer with FAN, and we will do a further briefing after conferring with FAN, a further briefing on what we obtain presently as we transit to a much more efficient system. That is one. The second one has to do with the second runway, the long-standing issue of the second runway. And there was actually a memo before council today which Mr. President approved on the second runway. And you remember that the construction of the second runway started before, but 4 issues actually affected the project. And those 4 issues that affected the projects were: one, the foreign exchange volatility that came up between when it was originally awarded by the previous government and of course this government. So the foreign exchange volatility affected the pricing of the project. The other one that affected it was the compensation that we had to pay for economic trees and other encumbrances at the project sites. And so that is why we had to augment and rescope that project. The third one is additional works identified by the ministry and consultants, notably the extension of the runway, additional taxiways and apron works that were not captured in the original design that we inherited as a government. And so in the process of doing all of this, we needed to completely rescope that project again and of course re-award it. There were 4 components of the project that we had to re-award, and which is: one, the construction of the runway, the taxiways, the links, the fencing with gates, internal perimeter and certain roads service and crash road services across around the airports. And the second aspect of that project is the procurement and installation of the airfield lighting, navigational aids, communication and meteorological equipments, because after the normal runway, all of these technical and equipment will have to come in to aid the use of the runway. The third aspect of that project that was approved today is the provision of power supply, and including construction of power station and switch room in respect of the project. And then of course the fourth one is the provision of vehicles, complementary agents and spare parts for the construction of the second runway. So graciously the President approved these 4 aspects of the project today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. Let me now bring in the Honorable Minister.